One decision, one pick, one day, that shifted the course of the NBA forever. In the league where every move is scrutinized, few moments carry the weight of draft night. It's the ultimate gamble, where the fate of franchises hangs on the hopes pinned to 19-year-olds and scouting reports. Over the decades, we've seen draft nights filled with promise, regret, and shock. But some draft days stand above the rest, when a single choice not only shaped a team, but rewrote the story of a league. From generational talents to unexpected trades, today we dive into one draft day that truly changed everything. Let's rewind to the 2018 NBA Draft, a year loaded with hype and uncertainty. Heading into the draft, big names like DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, Marvin Bagley III, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Trae Young dominated scouting reports. The Phoenix Suns had the number 1 overall pick and were expected to take Ayton, a dominant center out of Arizona. Most mock drafts had Luka Doncic, the Slovenian prodigy, within the top 3. He'd already proven himself in Europe, winning MVP honors in the EuroLeagues at 19. But American teams remained cautious. Concerned about Luka's athleticism and how his European game would translate to NBA offices led some to second-guess themselves. The Sacramento Kings, holding the second pick, passed on Luka and selected Marvin Bagley III, a move that was heavily criticized. Then came the pivotal moment. The Dallas Mavericks selected Doncic at number 3, but almost immediately agreed to trade him to the Atlanta Hawks, who had taken Trae Young. The swap included a protected future first-rounder going to Atlanta. At the time, it was viewed as a fair deal. Doncic was more polished of a player, but Young's offensive flash and deep shooting made him a perfect fit for the team. Both teams thought they were walking away with their franchise cornerstone, but as we know now, only one of them truly changed the league's trajectory. Draft nights have always had their fair share of drama, but few moments resonate through time quite like the shocking decisions and last-moment trades that left fans and franchises reeling. One of the most infamous examples is the 1996 NBA Draft. Charlotte Hornets selected Kobe Bryant with the 13th overall pick, only to trade him minutes later to the Los Angeles Lakers for Vlade Divac. At the time, Kobe was a skinny 17-year-old high school kid with no college resume, and many hesitated. But Jerry West, then Lakers GM, saw the future and made the call. Charlotte, meanwhile, faded into regret as Kobe built one of the greatest careers in sports history. Fast forward to 2009, and the story repeated in subtler fashion. The Golden State Warriors took Stephen Curry at number 9 after 6 teams, including the Minnesota Timberwolves, who picked back-to-back at 5 and 6, passed on him. Minnesota selected Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn instead. That single oversight changed the league. Curry didn't just become a great player, he revolutionized basketball. And then there's 2018, and the night began as expected. Ayton went first, Bagley second, but the shot came at number 3. The Mavericks took Luka Doncic, but immediately dealt him to the Hawks for Trae Young. On paper, the deal seemed balanced. Luka had the resume, Trae had the flair. But as years passed, Luka's consistent near triple-double averages, playoff heroics, and all-NBA honors cast a shadow. Trae, while electrifying and having led the Hawks to a surprising 2021 conference finals, hasn't matched Luka's global stardom. Behind the scenes, draft war rooms were buzzing. Some reports claim Sacramento's front office was divided over picking Luka, with some scouts reportedly lobbying hard for him. Sacramento never got the return they hoped for either. While Luka became the face of Dallas, the ripple effects of those picks still shape the team trajectories today. The consequences of a single draft day can redefine an entire era. Consider what happened because Charlotte let go of Kobe. They spent the next 2 decades in mediocrity, while Kobe became the heartbeat of the Lakers' modern dynasty. Similarly, the 2007 NBA Draft saw the Portland Trail Blazers pick Greg Ogden at number 1, passing on Kevin Durant. While Durant became a 2-time champion, league MVP, and one of the greatest scorers the game has ever seen, Portland's choice didn't just set them back, it changed the power balance of the Western Conference. In 2018's draft, the Luka-Trae swap became a referendum on scouting, development, and long-term vision. Luka turned Dallas into a playoff contender almost overnight. His performances, particularly his iconic game winner against the Clippers in the 2020 bubble, reminded fans of early LeBron and Magic Johnson. The Mavericks didn't need years of rebuilding. They found their cornerstone that night. Meanwhile, Atlanta also reshaped its franchise around Trae. His deep shooting, flashy playmaking, and charisma gave the Hawks an identity. The 2021 playoff run where they beat the Knicks and Sixers was Trae's statement to critics. Still, when comparing impact, it's Luka's trajectory that feels generational. Imagine if Sacramento had taken him. Would they have broken their playoff drought sooner? Or if Atlanta had just held on to Luka, could they become a perennial finals threat? These what-ifs aren't just fan debates, they're reminders that a single decision or draft a night can echo for decades. Years later, the true weight of the draft days become clear. Players once questioned the overlook and are now standing as franchise pillars, or in some cases as reminders of how unforgiving the NBA can be. Luka Doncic, who was traded by Atlanta after being drafted third in 2018, has cemented himself as a perennial MVP contender. He has averaged nearly a triple-double over multiple seasons, shattered playoff records, and drawn comparisons to legends. At just 25, he's already the cornerstone of the Dallas Mavericks. Trae Young, sent to Atlanta in the trade, became a two-time All-Star and led the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2021. While he hasn't yet matched Luka's consistency or playoff heroics, his impact on the Hawks' identity and resurgence can't be denied. However, when you talk to the analysts today, most agree. If the drafts were redone, Luka would go number 1 overall. Even DeAndre Ayton, the actual number 1 pick that year, has had a solid career, helping the Suns reach the finals in 21. The rest of 2018 top 5 looks wildly different in hindsight. Marvin Bagley III, takes second by Sacramento, has struggled with injuries and inconsistency in bouncing between teams. In a redraft scenario today, Bagley would likely fall out to the top 10. In contrast, players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have skyrocketed in value. Now an all-NBA talent with the Thunder, Shai would easily crack the top 3. Michael Porter Jr., originally drafted 14th due to injury concerns, would also move up based on his key role in Denver's 2023 championship run. Looking back, media narratives and fan reactions have shifted dramatically. At the time, many believed Atlanta won the trade by getting a future first along with Trae. But as Luka continued to dominate and break records, the perception flipped. Articles, podcasts, and fan forums now regularly revisit that deal with headlines like, "Did Atlanta give up on a generation-defining star?" or "Luka for Trae, who really won?" The consensus is that while both players are talented, only one changed the DNA of his franchise and became a global superstar. That draft wasn't just a collection of picks. It was a pivot point in modern NBA history. It reshaped franchises, careers, and even the way scouts evaluate international prospects. Years later, it's clear this wasn't just a draft, it was the draft day that changed everything. One draft day, a decade of consequences. The choices made that night rippled through the NBA, changing the future of franchises, altering the trajectories of players, and shifting the entire balance of power within the league. The 2018 draft with its iconic Luka-Trae trade became a blueprint for how quickly fortunes can change. Luka rises to stardom, and Trae's young electrifying career in Atlanta are constant reminders that sometimes just one pick, one trade, and one decision can determine the course of a generation. And as the league continues to evolve, the ramifications of that fateful draft will only grow more significant.